Welcome to another edition of Sunshine Spotlight, and I am so pleased to have an alumnus of the festival join us, Matt Lorenz of Suitcase Junket. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good. How you doing? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. If nobody's familiar with Suitcase Junket, you really need to see this guy live. Incredible. And I know the world has changed so much that a great performer like Matt can't do his thing, but he plays all the instruments at once. They're like these concoctions that he builds. And there's actually a video we're going to play later on that has a little taste of that in it. So, Matt, I guess I have to ask you, I ask everybody who comes on this show, how has it been, this whole quarantine thing, how you do your art? You've been very prolific. You've got a brand new album out called The End Is New, which I love. Tell me about what your quarantine's been like.
Yeah, well, it started, I was in the studio in mid-March. So things were just starting to get a little crazy. We were finishing up the album. Steve Berlin produced it again from Los Lobos. He did the previous one as well. Right. And so he was stuck out on the West Coast. I was out here with the engineer, and so the quarantine started in the studio, and then I've been sort of the album, getting the album ready for the release has sort of kept me busy all through quarantine. So it was weird not playing shows. It was really nice being at home, though. I am kind of a homebody despite all the touring. So I didn't get too stir crazy. But it's been wild. I'm working on the videos, took up a lot of time. It's been wild. I had a kid a couple months ago, and
congratulations.
Thanks. That's
talk like about burying the lead. That's kind of important.
Yeah, that's kind of like the big thing that's been happening for me. But then also balancing all of the, I've been really busy throughout the whole thing. It's been very strange. For everyone, but I find myself stumbling over, words to put on it because it's such a surreal time. And also just, angry. I've been very angry and disappointed.
Yeah, we all been there. Yeah, no question about it. Now, I just, The End Is New, which is great, sort of a play on the end is nigh, and we all sometimes feel like that, and we're going through a once-in-a-century pandemic. I'm assuming, since some of these songs, we'll play the video for Can't Look Away, but some of these songs, Black Holes and Overdoses and Light a Candle, they all seem to have, they're of a piece. They're sort of, I don't want to use the word concept, but it looks like you were writing from the standpoint of somebody who is going through what we're all going through.
Yeah, it all seemed a little bit prescient when the pandemic started, because all these songs were already written. Like Last Man on the Moon is another one that's like, we had already recorded all of them, and all of a sudden they all sort of took on this new weight and meaning when all that started going down. But yeah, The End Is New. I feel like it's a little bit heavy of a title, but also a little hopeful. Because with every end there is a kind of a new beginning. So it's doomy, but it's also has that little bit of silver lining to it.
How do you write? I mean, I've seen you perform, and it seems like you're just doing it. I remember Adam, who I do the podcast with, obviously, we always say, the thing that we always kind of look over when you think of the Rolling Stones is it just seems like they're just grooving and a song comes out of it. So when I watch you play, it kind of seems that way. But you must have a writing, we all do, a writing sort of structure. Do you write mostly on the guitar? Do you write with your whole rig? How do you do that?
Yeah, I actually try to mix it up a little bit so as to avoid blocks. So there's a few, a lot of times I'll come up with seed ideas, usually melodies or rhythms when I'm walking out in the woods, just like walking the dog, alone with my thoughts. The other kind of way is sitting down with a guitar and sort of coming up with finger picking ideas or strumming patterns without, chord progressions. But the stuff that I do sort of have the most fun with is when I sit down on the whole rig and develop an idea sort of from the rhythm up, where it's like, okay, this is a feel that I like. I haven't done this much before. And then I start shouting sort of nonsense syllables and,
right. Yeah.
And then, recording, the rough ideas and going back and thinking like, ooh, what was I saying there? Like, who was, sort of like translating.
Right. You're deciphering your own stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Well, yeah, and I had a tough. You sent me a couple of videos that you have out. We should say you should keep an eye out for the black holes and overdoses. But let's play "Can't Look Away." This though, before we do, and I want to talk about the video proper after we come back. But as far as writing, it seems this is the most. I don't want to say pop, but it's the most really less groovy, less bluesy, sort of traditional. You're nodding your head. So yeah, did you make a concerted effort to do that, or the song just came out that way?
I think that probably is the hand of Steve Berlin. I would guess. Like when I develop an idea, it usually sounds like me. And then he'll sort of come in with an idea of like, well, let's bring the tempo up a little bit. Let's change the key to put your voice in a different place. And so he'll have these interesting sort of sculpting ideas that bring it to a place that I probably wouldn't have taken it myself. But that being said, there are, I do like myself a little pop music now and then.
And I say that with all due respect. I love it too, But when I hear you, it's such a throwback. It's such a muddy Mississippi sort of bluesy feel to it. And obviously you have the look for it. And with the rig, it looks like you're coming right out of the 1930s. But this has just I don't want to say modern feel, but I think we've pretty much circled the wagons on this.
It's tight.
It's more traditional, I guess, than what you would normally do. Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's watch the video now. Plus, great visuals. We'll talk about that on the other end. But now let's watch the video for Can't Look Away.
We were waiting for the times to change with small acts and weather vanes, working out all the well-earned blame and a chorus of no's. But loose teeth and a gentle touch, it didn't really ever come to much. The very thing that we loved and such, what a predictable show. But it's just another human disaster. It's just another human disaster on the side of the modern road we're on. You can't look away. You can't look away. You can't look away. But a hungry heart and an angry mind will keep you looking and keep you blind. And it won't matter if you never find whatever you need to know. But if we're honest, then we're often mean. We're such bad, bad little beings, making awful and incredible scenes, spinning out in the snow. But it's just another human disaster. Yeah, just another human disaster
There it is. Can't Look Away from Suitcase Junket. And I got to tell you, Matt, what an inventive video. And as I said before, it has all the themes of being isolated, figuring out what to do, being creative, but also getting a little nuts in isolation. Tell me about how you came to not only come up with the concept of that video, but shooting it.
Yeah. There were a few different ideas that I was batting around with it, for this video, but the sort of person alone in a sort of weird bunker setting seemed very apt. So we kind of ran with that one. I like the idea of having a sort of weird monitor situation where I was sort of watching the outside world, this idea that, something bad had happened. And that was why I was there alone, sort of, trying to entertain myself, but also, trying to get ready for when things are safe to go outside. And that's how how it wraps up is things are blooming, let's get out there and see what's going on. But it's so apt for the time that we're in, where everyone is just trying to deal with solitude and loneliness, and
right.
And also watching a lot of the subject matter on the album has to do with the destruction of the natural world. I grew up in the woods. I like living out in the woods, and it's something that I really value. And, seeing that kind of stuff, being taken for granted and actively, taken apart is really hard. And something that, with this big pause for the pandemic, that was a sort of, big hope of mine. Like maybe the silver lining is that we get to reevaluate what we care about. We'll see.
Mother Nature's warning.
Right. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to, first of all, great acting in it. I mean, it seems like you must have had to do 100 takes of each different formulation, or did you shoot that chronologically, showing you kind of going through and then speeding it up and slowing it down? I mean, how did you do it?
It was sort of a few different camera placements, and then I would do a bunch of takes with each camera spot.
Did you do it by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow. So you shot that by yourself, you acted it, and then you had to go back and pick through all the stuff and edit it together.
That actually was Kelsey. That was my collaborator. So I got to send her all of the raw footage, and I sort of gave her the concept of, of the structure of the thing.
Wow.
But luckily I didn't have to go back through it, because I can't stand doing that. I hate editing. Yeah,
I got to say, that's something I do quite a bit, is video editing, and I was very impressed with that. So Kelsey, nice job.
Yeah, Kelsey O'Brien, Backbar Productions. She also did the Dandelion Crown video from the last album, which is a video where I play 4 different versions of myself. It's kind of a fun one.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, sure. So now The End Is New is out. How does one, I ask everybody this so far on the show, how does one in your position promote something like this, since you can't go on the road? What are your plans?
I know, right? I mean, making videos is a big part of it, because I have fun with it, and it feels like another branch of creation that can be, the music video as a piece of art. I like this idea, that it's not just a shiny companion to the music.
Sure.
Other than that, I mean, it's all socials at this point. I've got a release show that. Well, let's see. This is timing wise, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know when this is going to come out. Yeah. So
whether it'll be out yet or not, but I'll record the whole album basically live.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that'll be available like on YouTube for people to check out.
I think so. We're doing it as like a streaming concert type thing, and then we'll hopefully be able to have access to it afterwards as well. So I'm going to keep trying to do sort of performance based stuff. Probably a few shows over the winter, just from my studio, and
good,
shouting into the void over and over.
Well, all the information will be underneath you there for the website, so people can check out your social media to find out when this stuff is going live, or when you can check out Suitcase Junket. All right, Matt, I got to ask you, in conclusion, now you were on the podcast, and only people heard this in audio. They get to see you do this live, and they got to see you do it. I think you know where I'm going on this, on the garden sessions.
Yeah.
But you have for the audience of Sunshine Spotlight, can you please do that crazy whistle thing that you?
Oh, sure.
Okay, let's see if this translates through the internet right now.
Yeah, I'm curious how the speakers or the audio on my end takes it in. So
I hate to put you on the spot. Okay.
It's fine. No, I'll just say like a couple words quick. It's an overtone singing thing. I kind of came across it by accident driving in the car. So what I do is I hum a note, a single note, and then I move my tone sort of slowly in the mouth to create a kind of small resonant chamber. And that breaks the note that I'm humming up into the harmonic sequence. And so you get this sort of overtone structure. All right, so this, I'll sort of show what's happening here with the tongue. This is a representative of my tongue, this hand. How'd it come through? Did it work?
That's like a mellotron, you know?
It has such an electronic sound to it.
No, what's that thing that they play on Good Vibrations?
Oh yeah, what is that thing called?
Adam would kick my ass right now.
Yeah, it's the one with the antenna that's up. Yeah, all the old sci-fi stuff. Yeah, one hand does volume, one hand does pitch. Why am I drawing a blank on this?
I have no idea. It's someone's yelling at the screen right now. Yeah. But anyway, so thank you so much for joining us. That is Matt Lorenz. He's got something he calls Suitcase Junket. It's a one-man show. It's a one-man assault on the visuals and on the audio, and he's fantastic. He's got a brand new album out called The End Is New. And listen, man, continued success.
Thank
you. Keep making that great art through all this stuff.
Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time. It's good chatting with you.
Not a problem, man. Peace.
All right, see you.
I light a candle for you. I light a candle for you. I light a candle for you every night.
What the hell is that thing?
Theremin.
Ah! It's a theremin. I'm putting that at the end.
My partner shouted it in. I didn't remember it.